Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. This week, we are super excited to share with you guys a special episode where we got to interview the one and only John Keller, Gary Keller's son. We had a fantastic time interviewing John at Keller Williams Family Reunion Convention last week. You guys are going to love listening to him. He's a creative genius. He's the brain behind some amazing video marketing that's been happening amongst many other things. And then, of course, Linda and I could not get through an interview without asking him about what it was like having Gary Keller as a dad. So we hope that you enjoy this episode. We're looking really forward to dropping the other interviews that we did live over the next couple of weeks. We just appreciate you guys sharing the episodes. Please tag us when you share them so that we can reshare. Thank you for the likes and the comments and the reviews and the ratings. We are on a goal to get to 500 on iTunes, and we're super close. So if you have not yet given us a 5-star rating and review, we would just appreciate it so much. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@everythinglifeandrealestate. Also, if you have any suggestions or ideas or guests that you would like to hear on the podcast, we are ears open and ready to hear and would love to help give you guys some more value and topics that you want to talk about. So enjoy listening to this interview with John Keller and have a super blessed week.
Welcome, everyone. We're at our very first Radio Row at Keller Williams in Family Reunion in Anaheim.
Yep.
And we're super excited because we have an amazing guest named John Keller,
Yes.
who I've actually watched grow up from afar. And
True.
turned into an amazing young man. Super proud
Thank
to
you.
know his family and to watch him grow up into an amazing young man and a leader of Keller Williams.
Thanks, y'all.
So, hey, real quick, we always like to say you were born and then what happened. Cliff Note version, of course.
Short version. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
How'd you get here today?
I was born. They put me in the car. There was for sale signs in the trunk. I think your son Press is a very similar story.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a listing appointment was made on the way home.
Yeah.
It's a little delayed back to mom.
Baptism by real estate buyer. All that.
All right, yeah. Let me try to make this real short because I told a extended version last night that took an hour. So, was born in the business. Came to family reunions as a family vacation. Yeah, I'm looking at Miss McKissick. It's the same story. And I don't know. The company always felt like calling it a way of life feels forced, but it's true.
Yeah.
Right? Looking back, the idea of going and working anywhere else
Hmm.
is kind of a joke,
Yeah.
honestly, right? It's a little bit laughable. So
Yeah.
the fact that I made a detour after college for a hot second is, or even during undergrad, was unexpected.
What did you do during that time?
I studied landscape architecture
Oh,
for undergrad and thought I wanted to design parks and cities and urban development.
wow.
I was all set up. I was going to go to graduate school for design. I wanted to go to Harvard Graduate School of Design. I got offered a partnership in a architecture firm out of undergrad. Actually, by focusing on one thing, which actually earned me some low grades in my engineering and drafting courses. But I told my professors that nobody cared about engineering or drafting. All they cared about was stories and design and selling big pictures. And turned out to be true.
Yeah.
And the people I interned saw that. But what happened was when I got out of undergrad and I started looking at the financials of that business model, the gentleman Mitch, who runs our family office, put up the Excel spreadsheet on a big board for me and was like, "Are you familiar with the billable hours model?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Please do tell," right? And this is having grown up. My dad paid me to read business books when I was in second grade to start reading.
It's true. Okay.
Well, I wondered if it was true as well until we were clearing out my childhood room to make way for a nursery for my daughter. And I'm standing up on the top shelf, clearing stuff off because I had these huge built-ins in my wall and tons of books. And it's all dusty up there. And my wife's in the room. And I get to this long stack of books. and they've got Post-it notes on the front of them. And it's like $45, love dad, $35, love dad, right? $100 if you write an essay at the end of this sales book, love dad. And I'm like, well, I guess I didn't finish them all. And that's why I don't know some things. But yeah.
You did the same thing though with
Oh,
press,
yeah.
didn't you? Did
Yeah.
you learn that from Gary?
Or he might have learned it from us.
Yeah, there you go.
Easy. I believe it. Yeah. So, make a long story short, they recruited me away from my dream at the time. I'm actually looking at Jay Papazan over there because I was talking to him after I came back to the company, came home, and he sat me down. He goes, I want you to hear it from me first. I told Mitch not to hire you, not to take you off your dream, because either you're going to burn out and screw up and Gary's going to hate you forever, or you can risk it and be the golden boy who brought John home and never get any credit for it. And
No pressure.
nobody gives him any credit for bringing me back to work for Gary. And yeah, then
So what is your role now
Um,
inside of KW for those that don't know?
I'm now the vice chairman of the company as of 3 months ago, 2 months
Awesome.
ago.
But you're also
So-
super creative, and I have to tell you, our creativity has gone through the roof.
Oh, we were
it's
just
part
talking
of-
about this.
The videos are fantastic. The creativeness of all the
you.
teams working together, the collaborations. I've never
We-
seen it be better.
We've never had videos. I mean, every time a new one comes out, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the best one.
I'm just hoping some voice company doesn't hire you away though and steal you.
So I think what the realization we had was that the company had built this amazing brand without ever focusing on branding or brand strategy or marketing,
yeah.
right? Our marketing
Yeah.
department is great, right? But it was never filled with leadership of like brand strategy,
I agree. with
right?
that.
Like
Yep.
thinking about what's the brand, what does it stand
Yeah.
for, what's its purpose, how do we build it, and how do we lean on that as an intangible asset on the balance sheet,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's really key and applicable to everybody's business is when you're looking at your balance sheet, there's this thing that's not written down there,
Yeah.
and it's a line item on assets, or what, by the way, could be a liability,
Yeah.
depending on what you do out there, called brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't put a number
So
to it
true.
necessarily,
Yep.
but it's there.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very large number for Keller Williams, right?
And for any realtor that's
Yeah.
listening, I mean, every realtor should get what you just said.
100%. And you're starting at zero, but
Yeah.
it's a good reason why people start. It's why a lot of people show up and use their name for their real estate team,
Yeah.
because they bring all the brand equity that is associated with Joe Smith to Joe Smith home sales team,
Yeah.
right? But then what's next is you have to focus on how do you build that brand further and further and further.
Yeah.
Like for us, that was the Where Entrepreneurs Thrive thing, right?
Which is
Yeah.
so good.
This past summer, we were like, hey, what's our purpose statement?
Yeah.
And I was talking to Mo, I had lunch with Mo yesterday, and we were talking about our mission statement of our careers and businesses and lives. And the question that came to us was, okay, that's what we do, but why do we do it? And we
Yeah.
couldn't answer that with our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't actually on there.
Right.
And so I was talking to Gary late one night, and he was like, are you asking me to change a model? And I was like, yeah, I'm asking you to change one of your models. He's like, we don't change models. We teach MVVBP. 2 weeks later, comes into a room, and I'm like, all right, what's the purpose of the company? And he goes, I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks, and it's to build a place where entrepreneurs thrive. And then he kept talking, and it was like, no, pencils down. You got it.
Stop.
It's it. It's genius.
it.
We're good. That's it.
Mic drop.
And so we've spent the last, I don't know, however many months since August, 6 months,
Yeah.
pouring into that message and trying to use that to revitalize the company
Yeah.
by basically, I think I'm talking about myself and what we did a lot here, but I think if you want to make it applicable to other people is you've got the MVVVP model, but
Yeah.
you also have to ask yourself the question about what is my reason for existing? Why do I walk the planet? What do I do every day? And what's going on?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why am I here? And then you use that as a decision-making framework of one question.
Yeah.
Right. And I got in a little trouble with HR when I spoke to the whole company in September, November. And because I sort of had this like death to corporate America speech with a couple F-bombs in it. And I
Mo wasn't there.
said, look, like I had to sit down and fire our CEO, several months
Yeah.
ago, right? Everybody thought he quit. Turns out nobody knew I'd fired him, right? But it was a great moment to tell everybody we lost our way in the woods. We lost
Yeah.
our way in the wilderness for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we got a little corporate because as things grow bigger, entropy takes hold, right? It's the
Yeah.
prevailing force of the universe. and our jobs and really successful people organize things. Like you build systems and models, and you just want to organize all the entropy so you can just keep things ticking on time. And if you're not careful, that can look like a big corporation for a really big business.
Yeah.
And the trick is, how do you build systems and models to keep your business small and nimble, and not systems and models just for the sake of keeping things chugging along. And we had 7 people quit because they said they didn't want to work for an entrepreneurial company, and I'm never been more proud.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just sitting here thinking about this though, John, because I do feel like for a hot minute there, we
did lose our way.
we lost. I mean, we got so corporate. I mean, you and for those of us that had been here and
Oh, sister, I was there.
yeah, I mean,
I hired some of those people.
you could feel it. I mean, down to the agents could feel it, you know, and I'm just so proud over the last year. I feel like, man, like we've got it back. We've got our momentum. Lynn and I were just talking about this. Like we've never had momentum like we have right now.
And I'm going to say this, it's a bold statement, but we've been talking about a lot. At first, it was marketing is like this dark art, right? It's you can't put your finger on it. You don't know where the dollars are going out the window to the agency or the whatever. It's like sales and lead generation, all these things. For big companies in recessions, do y'all know the number one expense they cut?
Probably that.
Advertising.
Yeah, I was gonna say
right. Do you know the number one strategy that you should use in a downturn?
Yeah.
You fill the vacuum because everything gets cheaper in that moment. So you pour money into advertising and marketing and lead generation, right? That's what you do. And if you can really focus on your brand and your brand standards, and then pour into the marketing and advertising engine around that, you can, it's weird, but the decision to introduce a purpose statement back into the company, and then I derailed earlier when I gave that speech to the company. What I said was, every single decision that you make going forward, from the top of the company to the bottom of the company, when you ask yourself this question, does this help entrepreneurs thrive? If the answer is no,
becomes guardrails.
then you need to go back and start over.
Yeah.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You haven't hit the answer.
Yeah, I love that so much. I think
Well, that's why you see communities going, because communities is us just spinning off little entrepreneurial areas to go and move faster to help people
so
with individual needs.
New great ones. I remember probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was in Austin and I was talking to Jason, and he said, what's the one thing that you feel like that we need to do that we're missing? And I said, we're the like number one real estate company in the world, and we're not on Instagram. Like that's a problem, you know? And now I feel like, man, we're out there, like we're everywhere. And
we were not telling our own story, and we've been told that so many times.
We have the greatest story in the industry, and nobody knows it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story. Because, by the way, I love realtors, but what I think is true about the company is that what we love more than realtors is we love entrepreneurs. Because if you just love realtors, it's not enough to be successful. Because just focusing on being a good realtor is never going to grow a big business. Right? Because when you pass that test and you become a real estate agent, congratulations, you're in business for yourself. You're now an entrepreneur. And you don't have time to go to business school. So what are you going to do? You got to go learn systems and models and tools and training to be a business person. And that's what we do here. Nobody else does that.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
Well, we have one final question.
Is it about my relationship with my father?
It is about what, because now you're a father. Now
father of 2.
2 beautiful children, by the way. I watch Gary's pictures.
Thank you.
He sends them to me every so often.
It's so cute how proud Gary is. Like, I love
it.
There's the socks with their picture. You know, it's like the cutest ever.
So we're curious about this. What are some of the things that Gary instilled in you to make you this amazing, and your mom too, Mary too? I know you're a great mix of both of them. What are some of the things that he instilled that you want to instill in your children that you think brought you to where you are today?
Purpose and intentionality. I think intention is sort of a prevailing parenting attribute that he carried with him. And simply because when you have intention, it gets results, you know? I mean, he was very intentional about, here's one, he wanted me to be, enjoy the outdoors, right? You know that because I went on fishing trips with your family, right? Up to Canada and the Boundary Waters. And so he rinse, wash, repeat. He did that over and over and over again and exposed me to those things because he wanted me to do that, right? He was very intentional about me understanding intuitively the principles of business, which is why I had to go sit in the front row of family reunion all those years. So I had to go to Quantum Leap year over year over year over year over year. It's why I had to read the business books. It's why he was heartbroken when I was like, I'm gonna go to the University of Georgia, go dog them dogs as hell, and study landscape architecture. Cause he's like, oh my gosh, wait, I thought I had intention and purpose in my parenting. And then when I went and got my MBA, I think he was like, oh, I did.
Okay,
Anyway,
clear.
it was just intention. There's a lot you could say about it, but
Yeah.
it was having purpose and having intention around what you wanted to see the results of your parenting to be, and then building a plan and sticking to it and being firm but loving,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Love that.
Firm but loving.
Yeah. Love
Which
that.
I feel like can be hard to do, you
Yeah.
know, because don't want to
Well,
lose respect.
Kids see boundaries as love,
Yeah.
and it
True.
keeps them safe. They feel safe, right? A lot of
100%.
times the boundaries are the hardest things for parents to do, but it is the one thing that makes a child feel safe and loved. I mean, I can't think of the times I would be really firm with my kids, and in 2 seconds they're back in your lap giving you a big hug and a kiss, and you
Yeah.
probably just gave them a spanking or something, which I'm sure nobody does anymore. But
Not true.
yeah, so they
A lot of spanking at my house.
that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, this has been great.
Sure.
We needed triple time with you, John. So thank you.
Okay. Thanks for
And
getting
I
over with
think
me.
you
I
did
appreciate
every
y'all.
Christmas card
Appreciate
you've
it.
ever drawn. I keep trying to collect them all.
Oh, that's
Find my
cool.
lost ones. All your Christmas cards
Thank
over
you
the years
so
that
much.
you did.
Thank
Love
you.
them all.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
say y'all.
Thank you.
Those all
We're
together
excited
so
to have
good.
you be in leadership and
Yeah.
bring your ideas and your creativity and
And
everything.
your good video voice.
yes, your great video voice.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.